Hey there, Lurkers. What do you think about I've been a little embarrassed? Taylor and Kelce, subjective and Scott Smart or Outsmart?
Much like the U.S. government, it sounds like this show is headed for a shutdown. So, while we still can, let's lurk!
What the hell does that mean? What does that mean?
Should we tell everybody what's about to happen?
No.
As we approach this early October?
Oh.
I think we should give them a fair warning that somebody is getting
a finger up my butthole, and I need to take some time off.
Well, that's one way to put a ring on it, but
I think what is it? Next week? No, we have 2 more weeks, and then we're gonna take a break
Roughly.
for a week, unless Scott decides to do something. Because I'm getting married.
Yeah, you are. Good job, buddy. Hey, we did it. We did it.
I didn't think we could, and it wasn't
Chris
to
Dugan,
each other.
Hey, man, we're joining the club, so we can finally hang out again.
Listen, this is for Chris if he's listening. Scott, how did he beat us to it?
We gave him all of our knowledge, which wasn't much, to be honest. But then we stood back and we were like, oh, man, we should do that too.
And just like you, I apparently am a little behind the times, and it was a little embarrassing. I'm going to be honest with you.
To finish third? You're on the podium, man.
I don't know if that counts. That's like kind of the best loser, isn't it?
None of us are losers, unless you want to be the biggest loser.
Okay, that's fair. Are you saying I need to lose weight?
I'm saying don't be so embarrassed.
Well, Scott,
it happened. Just be happy that it happened.
I've got a few stories from across the internet about people that have maybe had the most embarrassing days or just got themselves in a little hot water. Now, I know you don't get embarrassed by much.
That is true.
And so this could be our kryptonite because, you might just think of this as like a Tuesday, and this might be somebody else's worst possible day. But before I get into the story, Scott, I am a man of my word. Sometimes. And this time, I'm going to come through.
I didn't think it would get there. I'm so happy right now. Oh, yes. People listening at home, you have just missed out. You have to go to our YouTube. He got it. He must have put some rush shipping on there, but the Cock Rock t-shirt is being worn on the show right now.
I set up my mic. I specifically set this up so on screen it just says cock.
Oh, man. Now, I guess you kind of stood up, but I don't think it showed everybody. Are you rocking out?
With my cocking out?
Yeah.
Maybe. It just depends on how excited this game goes.
Well, if you're talking about the game of subjective, you know where you can find it? At the end of the episode. That's right. Where we will reveal
the winner of this week's surprise. Apparently I need to not only have a shirt that says Cock Rocks, but it also needs to say My Cock Rocks.
You could get a little piece of tape, just put it right above.
Scott's Cock Rocks.
That's next week's punishment.
Oh my god. So if you're on the video and you see my head cut off, it's just so you can see my cock. Oh man. Our fathers-in-law listen to the show, Scott.
Oh boy, yeah.
Okay, speaking of embarrassment, the first story says, in 8th grade, I had a crush on a boy in my class. At some point, I found out my family was going to move, and I was going to be switching schools. So, I did what any teenage girl would do. I wrote him a very long love letter.
Naturally.
The day after, I read it to him in front of class.
What?
My parents decided that they're going to keep going to the same school.
Okay, so that's kind of a baller move. It's just how you own it. Good for you.
That's the problem with these stories.
Yes. You can't be embarrassed if you do it from like a confident angle.
That person could have been the coolest person in school. But no.
Because if that person then shuts you down, you know what you do? Then you go, you point to somebody else and say, I got one for you, but I'm saving it for tomorrow.
Or you go, hey, thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that you gave me the respect to read this letter to Colin. I'm out. What about this one, Scott? This is maybe the most embarrassing email exchange I've had. I sent an email. They replied and called me Matisse. And I replied with a stink about how my name is properly spelled and that it's actually really important to me. Then I got an email back that said, check the first email, because I had misspelled my own name.
Oh. Delete that email. Quit that job. You got to move. You got to go to that other person's school.
Speaking of schools, man, I am not cut out for LA. This girl at a party said, I'm a sub. And I said, oh, that's cool. I always wanted to work with kids. And she looked at me horrified. Thought she meant a teacher, like a substitute teacher.
Oh. Well, come on. You can't expect everybody to know that side of Reddit.
I worked. You should have listened to our first 2 years of the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I worked with somebody who was so out of the loop for things happening around us that I was like, hey, do you know who Tom Cruise is? No idea.
Is this a rando or somebody you literally work with?
Literally worked with. I worked with him for years.
I want to take notes. I'm like, how?
It doesn't make any sense. How do you get to that stage where you don't know?
Well, I've got an embarrassing story to follow up on this one.
Okay.
And it's kind of tied to you. You're getting married soon.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to go on a honeymoon to some location that we won't reveal because in case you got stalkers from the podcast, let's be honest. You're probably going to take a lot of photos, and I imagine you might take ones that you don't want to show anybody else because they're private between you and your bride. Well, this one dude happened to have a family group photo folder, and he had just got back from his honeymoon and decided to paste a bunch of photos to that. And there were 36 people in this family. It's not just immediate. It was extended, cousins, aunts, uncles, moms, and dads. One photo slipped in of his bride in the buff, and he just felt, as you can imagine, awful. Now, thankfully...
Did somebody send a shirt that said, cock rocks?
No, thankfully, it was from behind, and you couldn't see anything. You could just tell that the person was topless, and he immediately deleted it and apologized. There were some family members who thought, you did that on purpose. Like, it was a flex.
Oh, God. Scott, do I know this person?
No, you do not. You do not. This is a random stranger.
Are you sure?
It wasn't me, okay?
Scott?
It was Chris Dugan, all right? Fine.
Have you ever mistakenly sent a nude to somebody?
No, it was always on purpose.
Never wanted, but always on purpose.
How does this look? I know we don't we don't know each other, but how does this look?
You're the one who started airdropping them on airplanes.
It's the only way to fly. Oh, man. Well, speaking of things that are flying, there is probably one football team that is selling way more jerseys than they ever expected this weekend for somebody who has done nothing with catching balls, but instead catching hearts.
Oh?
I'm watching football this weekend, and my wife comes up to me and she's like, whatever you do, you have to talk about this on the show. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what you're doing right now, but this is kind of like our gig. We know what we're doing. I dismiss it. I go on with my life. Day passes. I'm hanging out today, doing show prep, actually. And she comes down. She's like, no. You don't understand. My socials are flooded with this topic right now. Please talk about it. And so I go and just do a little quick skim of the internet. And lo and behold, Taylor Swift, who, you know, did you hear she brought in like $54 million in like added revenue to our state when she did her 2 concerts here?
To Minnesota?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say what she made herself. And I'd be like,
no.
That felt a little small. Just to this state?
Just to the city of Minneapolis while she was here. They made an extra $50 million in 2 days. Well, apparently she's dating a football player. That football player, his name is Travis Kelce, and he plays tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Hey, I had never heard of Travis Kelce until this weekend.
And that makes a lot of sense because you and I guess most of the Swifties are like, who is this mustachioed man that has captured the heart of my queen?
Listen, my TikTok probably looked just like your wife's. and if mine had a TikTok, it would look just like yours. But mine was filled. He's a handsome dude.
You know, I'm not going to like poo-poo him just because he's like shredded and 8 feet taller than me and could like break me in half like a number 2 pencil. I don't think he's the best looking guy in the world. He's definitely symmetrical. But I don't like the mustache.
That's it, huh? Does it hurt? It hurts?
I can't grow one. Okay, I'm jealous. It's jealous. I'm jealousy of Kelce.
My favorite trend this week, this might be similar to what you had posted, is women are going around. This is the best flex on dudes ever. So like girls are going up to their dads or they're going up to their boyfriends or husbands and they're going, "Oh, it's so great that Taylor Swift is dating Travis Kelce because she's putting him on the map. Nobody would have known who he was." And just watching these men just erode. Their masculinity is like, no, he's the best tight end that's ever existed. Dude,
I love that tight end. That's my tight end.
It's my tight end. It's so tight, he's going to be MVP.
That's a good flex, but because honestly, she is. Think of the millions of people that didn't know who he was until this past weekend.
Like, genuinely, I didn't care about football. I had heard the name Travis Kelce, but if you asked me to spell it, fail.
That's why I wrote it. I wrote it on purpose for you to read it the correct way. I spelled it Kelsey.
Because I would have said
the only
Kels.
way to spell Kelce. Yeah. So, do we think it's real? Because there's people who are saying, like, you know, it's just a flirtation. I obviously have my dated theory that she's only doing this so she can come out with some sort of, like, cock rock album.
Nice.
Of all the people she's dated, and if you look how Travis Kelce has acted as a human being up until this point.
That means nothing to me. What the hell does that mean?
If you had to describe him from a perspective of somebody who doesn't know him and the podcast with his brother and how he acts on camera.
He has a podcast? Is it as big as Lovely Lurkers?
It is as big, if not bigger, I would say.
Hey, welcome to the party, Travis. Congrats, man. You deserve it.
But anyway, he comes off as a meathead. Whatever you imagine the stereotypical jock, that's kind of like the projection he gives on Sundays. But you kind of got to do that, right? Like athletes have to give off this, I'm tougher than you, I'm better than you, I'm stronger than you, I'm going to whoop you, and there's nothing you could do about it. Kind of bravado. Otherwise, why are you even on the field?
I think this is the prom queen meets the captain of the
Quarterback.
Captain of the football team. That, like, Taylor Swift is very predictable. And as much as Swifties think that she has this, like, agenda, she plays into this fandom, but it's so like generic. It's like a pumpkin spice latte of drinks. Like, you expect it, but you still enjoy it. And this is on brand. She comes from Tennessee. And so, like, why would she not want to go for the lovable big dude that can wrap her in her arms and look longingly into her? Okay, sorry, I got a little distracted. Close this tab.
Lift her up and carry her across the threshold. Stare longingly into the pools at our eyes. Caress her soft alabaster skin. Okay, back to the show. The one thing that might completely erase everything that I had described before about this man is that he is a huge mama's boy. Like, he loves his mom probably more than anything, and his dad too. He's a strong family guy, so I think there's a chance. I think they're both going to be good for each other. I hope it works out.
Is this one half of the brothers that both played each other in the Super Bowl?
Yes, this is that story.
Got it. So, like, the mom who wore the two-sided jersey.
You got it, yep.
It's all coming up Millhouse.
I know. Their brand is really taking off right now. So that's the conspiracy theory, right? They go to the Super Bowl together. They got their podcast together. Mama's flying high. But suddenly, the summer happens. The money starts to trickle. It's not flowing anymore. They go to the biggest, baddest PR firm in the world, and they're like, how can we elevate? What kind of synergy can we get? One of the interns, raises their hand meekly from the corner and like, I have an idea.
It's your era.
What if you dated Taylor Swift?
And then Jason's in the corner going, what do I get? What about me?
I'm sure there's other people.
Selena Gomez.
Jason, I actually went and watched like a couple clips from their podcast to see if the Swiftie trail was leaving breadcrumbs up until this past weekend. There's something on there that's like Jason for president, so maybe that's what he gets out of this. As soon as he retires, he runs for office. We've got President of the United States. You got your brother who married Taylor Swift for a PR move. These guys
somehow
are
has
the
more
new
control over the president.
Exactly. These guys are the new, I don't know, Bushes or Clintons, some sort of political dynasty. All hail Kelce, 2030, I can't do math, whenever that is.
Good for them, though. This is a fun story to watch.
Yeah, we'll all be watching with bated breath, heaving bosoms. Stop me while I'm ahead here, Willie.
But that's just my opinion. That's just me. It could be a little subjective.
I'm glad you brought that up naturally. Folks, thank you so much for those who listened and then played in our game of subjective last week. I don't drink coffee.
I hate every fucking one of you.
And yet I still won. So, appreciate you. Hearts and hand jobs. Now,
Come
with
again?
that t-shirt? Exactly. Okay, welcome back to another game of Subjective. This week's subject is
Best cartoon characters of all time.
Now, for those who are joining us for the first time, we pick a theme, then a team, and you help us continue the dream. by voting on our socials. And we're going to do it a little different. By now, if you're listening to the show, you are just about to find out which team you voted for. And subsequently, who is the winner. So, because I have now won like 4, 5, 17 in a row, we've got some modifiers to help Willie try and claw his way back in. What we're going to do this week is let Willie pick his entire team first.
I have little faith that I can do this. It's good luck hat. Let's do this.
So you're going to know, voters, real quick, whether you picked the winner or the loser. So, last week's loser says what?
For my team of subjective, number 1, Mickey Mouse. Number 2, SpongeBob SquarePants. Number 3, Bugs Bunny. Number 4, Bart Simpson. And number 5, Goku.
That's a wonderful team. Now, for my number 1, Homer Simpson. Number 2, Scooby-Doo. Number 3, Pikachu. Number 4, Goofy. And number 5, Eric Cartman.
This fucking game is gonna break me. Because I know it. I know it in my bones. I'm going through this list and I'm like, Mickey Mouse is number 1 in any list. It's iconic. SpongeBob SquarePants. Here's the deal, Scott. SpongeBob is the voice of Gen Z. And if they're listening, if they're out there, that is their number 1.
Has to be.
Think that's their Everest.
It's the Crocs of cartoon characters.
And then Goku is my favorite.
I think that's also a good Gen Z. Like, I think he has spanned generations.
But they're going to be like, oh, Bart Simpson, Homer Simpson, better. There's going to be one comparison everywhere. Ooh, Mickey Mouse, the big mouse? Fuck that. I'm going to go with Goofy. It's in the same fucking family, you idiots. But you're going to be like, Goofy's so much more funny, and he's less of a capitalist. So I'm going to go there, you douche canoes. Listen, I'm screaming because I know I fucking lost.
Oh, man. I win either way now, because if you won, people have to listen to your rant having just voted for you.
And I'll lose them every week. I'm going to pass out.
I know. I don't know if that was such a smart move on your part.
Was my team any good?
Your team was great. I love it. Mickey was on my list. SpongeBob definitely on my list. Bugs on my list. I would have chosen Bart if you had picked Homer. Goku wasn't on my list because I didn't grow up with that show. But there's like so many we didn't pick. Stewie Griffin, Winnie the Pooh, Naruto, like all of
Garfield?
these. Rick and Morty, yeah, like
anybody from Bob's Burgers.
Mm-hmm.
Perry the Platypus. That was one on my list for a long. This is just.
So we'll see. We'll find out. We don't know, but you already do.
And apparently, Scott, I might not be that smart.
But we're gonna find out how smart I am on this week's Scott Smart or Outsmart.
Are you ready, Scott?
I think so. I think I can.
Fantastic. Here's how the game works, Lurkers. I've got 5 tricky trivia questions for Scott. For each one that he gets right, he's one step closer to the real answer, because there's a twist. All of the questions have a connection. Scott, if you win.
If I win, we got some good feedback from your videos. So I'm going to ask for a realistic 3 videos before you get married.
All right, I'm in. But if you lose, I've got another movie for you to watch.
Please don't be scary.
It is. And this
is
time,
it the new Alien one?
You have to watch it while I'm gone. It is an A24 film. Talk to Me.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds scary.
Scott, the movie Talk to Me is by two indie film directors about people who grab a hand and immediately see somebody that's dead.
Please don't. I have to win.
I saw 4 TikToks in a row of clips from this movie, and my adrenaline was pumping.
All of the horror film makers that have passed, like, not passed, like died, but just like have done movies, are all saying like this is one of the scariest films they've ever seen. Okay.
What I will tell you is this
Thinking
week's
cap is
connection, I'm giving you an advantage.
Oh, okay.
So here we go. Question number 1. What key on a computer keyboard moves the cursor to the last character of a line in Windows or scrolls to the bottom of a window on Mac?
Is it the tab key?
Incorrect. Question number 2. America's Test Kitchen says you can substitute bass, halibut, or grouper for the red variety of what Atlantic fish?
Is it a snapper?
Correct.
Okay.
Question number 3. What does the S stand for in the name of the government agency OSHA?
Safety.
Correct.
Okay.
Number 4. What term do anglers use for fishing gear derived from a Dutch word for ship's rigging?
Is it tackle?
Correct. And question number 5. In 2013, what Canadian band did Rolling Stone readers vote the second worst band of the 1990s behind only Creed?
Nickelback.
Correct.
All right. Okay.
Scott, you have got 4 out of 5. What is the connection?
I'm hoping it has to do with this week's theme. Are these all positions on a football team?
Motherfucker! Yes, it is, Scott. I'm making 3 more videos. Do you have any recommendations for me?
Yes. I don't know how you find it, but I'm going to help you out probably. We're going to find the biggest trending videos, and we're just going to copy them. We're going to go for broke. Because that's all TikTok is, right? Everybody just copying each other.
And just for you, Scott, because the Lurkers are smart, they knew it. But what key on a keyboard moves the cursor to the last character of a line or scrolls to the bottom of a window? It is the...
You know, it's easy now that you've got the other ones. That would be the quarterback key. And that is the end of our show, Lurkers. So thank you so much for hanging out with us this week. Please rate and review wherever you lurk.
We appreciate the love, so remember to be kind to each other, and we'll see you this weekend.